Welcome back to Lantern Insights, a long-awaited full league with live video, kind of live reactions to it, and we are playing Lantern Control today. If you're new to the channel, this is totally dedicated to Lantern Control. It's my go-to deck, number one deck that I play in Modern. I've been playing it for a few years now and just want to pass my knowledge along to other people. If you're unfamiliar with the deck, it's looking to combine Lantern of Insight with Codex Shredder. Lantern says that both players have their top card of their library revealed, and Codex Shredder taps to have a player mill a card. With this, we're able to control everything that our opponents draw and prevent them from drawing any answers to this combo. Beyond that, the rest of the deck is kind of focused around not dying, so our key card in that department is Ensnaring Bridge, which says that creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand can't attack. The goal of this deck is to get to a spot where you have 0 cards in hand, and so you don't have to worry about most creatures. In order to get to that spot, we have Tutor's Whir of Invention and Profane Tutor. We have a lot of good hand disruption suite. If they start with something in their opening hand, we can't prevent them from milling it, but the hand disruption is very important. One thing to note in this list, we are playing 1 Inquisition. Often lists play more copies of Duress, but I think it's important to have one that you can get off Profane Tutor in certain situations. We have Portable Hole as our main deck removal. It is very powerful with Whir of Invention, as we are both able to use it to cast higher Improvise on Whir, and we're also able to find it with Whir of Invention, so I really like that flexibility. Mishra's Bauble just makes our deck functionally a bit smaller, and with Codex Shredder allows us to, kind of have a bit more selection on our top card. Welding Jar and Spellskite are a bit of protection for the combo, and then Curse Totem, Underworld's Cookbook, and Grafdigger's Cage are kind of our 3 main deck hate cards. These are often the first cards to come out sideboarding in certain matchups, but I think they're all... Curse Totem is probably the one that I'm most on the edge about running in the main deck, but I think where the meta is positioned right now, I think it's a reasonable card. To round out, we have Pixis of Pandemonium, which has a similar function to Codex Shredder, except it exiles, which is going to benefit against certain cards. And then we have Pithing Needle. There are just so many activated abilities in Modern right now that it's a very versatile card. Looking to our mana base here, we are back to 1 copy of Academy Ruins. I had it cut for a little bit, but have decided to put it back in. Just had some rough games against Mill and thought that it would be a bit more helpful. We also have Urza's Saga, most powerful land, most powerful card in the deck. Does put a bit of constraints on Whir of Invention, but because we still have 17 blue sources, plus what we can control, I think I've generally found that we're okay casting Whir of Invention, but Urza's Saga gives us that added flexibility of putting pressure on with constructs that we didn't really have in any other way. Moving along to the sideboard here, we're going to play Leyline of Sanctity against kind of Burn, Thoughtseize decks, anything too aggressive that's dealing a lot of direct damage to us. We're going to be bringing in Leyline for. Get Lost, really bringing it in for Leyline Binding and Primeval Titan. You can be used against a Murktide, although that's not great, but there's a lot of things that it can hit that are problematic for us. And Ashiok is kind of there for Titan. It's very good against, especially on the play against Titan, which is one of our worst matchups, and just kind of has a lot of the slower, grindier games. It's a card we're looking to bring in, and of course against anything graveyard related. 2 more copies of Pithing Needle. There are just so many activated abilities that we want to have as many copies as possible of them. And then an extra Welding Jar, and then a bunch of 2 mana artifacts. Basically, these are all kind of sideboard slots for certain decks, and we'll bring them in those matchups just because we have kind of 8 ways of finding them. So if we bring in 1 copy, it's sort of like we bring in 9 copies. Not exactly like that, obviously, but close enough. Anyway, hopefully that's given you a good overview of the list that I'm playing today, and I will see you in Game 1. Alright, we're starting out on the play for Game 1. Obviously we're gonna take the play when we get it. This hand, I think, overall is pretty solid. We're going to be able to lead on hand disruption, suspend a profane tutor early. We have Bauble plus Shredder to filter our draws a bit. Quite a solid hand here. We do see them mulligan down to 6. Obviously, we got no problem with our opponents mulliganing aggressively. This definitely is... Ooh, Gemstone Caverns. So it's likely either Rhinos or Hardened Scales. Lightning Bolt exiled. It's neither Rhinos or Hardened Scales. I don't know exactly what is going to be on Gemstone Caverns that aggressively, but we can take a peek for sure. And they appear to be on some sort of red aggro. Definitely going to play the... Maybe they're on like a mono red turbo out Blood Moon list. Importantly, they didn't reveal Obosh or anything. Playing Eidolon would mean they don't have it, but I think we would prefer them to dash Ragavan here than cast Eidolon, which is what they're going to do. We're probably going to have to spend a Thoughtseize this turn, as we... Ragavan does have a lot of very good hits in our deck, but Eidolon is very powerful against us, so I think we will Thoughtseize to take it before we suspend the Profane Tutor, as next turn they're going to be able to dash Ragavan and cast Eidolon if we do not. So we're going to take a look, see if there's anything new. Yeah, oh boy. So we got to take Blood Moon here, as we have no basics, and Blood Moon does wreck us pretty hard. Obviously, this isn't a top meta deck by any stretch, but is something to worry about. We know there are 2 cards in hand. You know, I think it is worth it. I think the Blood Moon question is very hard. Obviously, you know, there are a lot of different ways to build Lantern, and I don't think any of them are very good into Blood Moon. There's not really much that we have going for us when a Blood Moon hits the table. I don't know why they didn't dash that, but alright. So they're going to play an Eidolon here. They got 1 card in hand. I think they likely, if they had a Blood Moon, they probably would have cast it here. And we're going to go ahead and draw the Saga, as I think having creatures is going to be somewhat relevant here, especially ones that can block Eidolon, as they are going to be putting pretty good dose of pressure on our life total. Although if we can, this Saga will definitely be finding Underworld's Cookbook. It's very strong against most of these aggressive decks like this. Although I guess we could... Oh, they hit an Ensnaring Bridge, which we would have liked to have. If we get the opportunity, like if we draw a bridge here, I think we just play it out. I don't know exactly what's in their hand right now, but here we are going to go for constructs, as we do want to present some blockers. And importantly, if we cast Whir of Invention for Portable Hole, that isn't going to trigger Eidolon, because Whir will be bigger than 3. They play a Soken Zen, and they're getting their 3rd land. And I think we're in a reasonable spot here. They probably have some amount of burn spells in hand. Chandra is not... I mean, if they're just playing Chandra here, I think we're in a pretty good spot, as it deals 4 damage to a creature, and we are... Oh, they're Boros Reckoner. Okay, I mean, cool deck from them. I wonder... Okay, they don't... Them not sending their creatures in for a trade here is actually really big. We're going to be able to make pretty decent board. Unfortunately, we're going to take a bit of damage off this Eidolon. And now I got to think how I want to... if we get Needle... take 2. We could get another Saga. They have 1 card in hand. That might just be the play. Keep cranking out constructs. Although if we get another Saga, it dies to the Chandra. So I think we're just going to get a Pithing Needle and play it on Chandra. Where is it? We got a needle down here. And then, we do draw a Lantern, which is very strong here. And so we're going to be able to make another construct, grab the Underworld's Cookbook. And so we can either gain 3 this turn, or we can go, if we go Needle, so we can play Pithing Needle on Chandra and Lantern this turn, which will give us decent control, but it will put us down to 4. They won't be able to block, and we will have 2 6/6s, which I think puts us in a pretty good position. And then we start discarding stuff to Underworld's Cookbook. And they shouldn't be able to kill. Yeah, I think we're just going to go for this Pithing Needle line. Importantly here, what was I going to say? With another aspect of Underworld's Cookbook that is very strong is that it allows you to discard cards underneath a Blood Moon. So if they had, Lightning Axe doesn't kill a construct, so I think we let them have that. If they resolve a Blood Moon here, obviously we are going to mill it, but if they were to resolve it, then we are able to discard discard things that we would otherwise be unable to cast. And so we do have the potential to gain 6 next turn. Another Eidolon isn't great, but if we discard, make a food. Yeah, I think we discard 1 here, because we do want some life gain. Another Lantern on top. I think we're going to mill them here, see just what's underneath. We know they do have a Lightning Axe in hand. Shatter Skull Smashing is going to cost them a lot to play. So I think here we're good to just pass. We will eventually either crack the food or get another Codex Shredder. Although I think we're probably going to crack the food before we get a Codex Shredder, as paying a life for Spire of Industry would put us in bolt range. However, we do get this win in game 1. I think that's pretty important. Now, we're a bit slow on the clock here. I was kind of talking a bit more than I usually do, and I'm just playing by myself, of course. So, in terms of what we want to bring in, I'm going to bring in Leyline of Sanctity. Get Lost is kind of our only answer to Blood Moon, although we do have to kind of draw it right away. Welding Jar, as they're a red deck, most of their hate is going to be Destroy. And then we saw Chandra. I don't know what else they had in hand. It could have been another Chandra. I don't think we bring in too many Pithing Needles. We're going to take out a Cursed Totem. Didn't seem to do much. Grafdigger's Cage isn't really what they are about. We probably trim 1 Pithing Needle. We can always find the one for Chandra or just keep them off Chandra. I think they are going for Blood Moon early. We saw with Gemstone Caverns, but they won't have that this game, which is important. So I think if we're trimming a tutor in this matchup, it's going to be Profane Tutor over Whir of Invention, because Whir doesn't trigger Eidolon. Although Tutor is a bit faster, but I think we can trim 1 tutor. Our game plan in this game is going to be a lot of Leyline of Sanctity, because we did see Boros Reckoner, so that's one way they can deal us a lot of damage quickly. So we're going to bring in Leyline, and then Cookbook obviously is an important card to get out. Maybe trim another Bauble. I don't like cutting Thoughtseize against a deck that has so many kind of high cost cards that we can take out. Spellskite actually might be a bit slow as protection. We do have this Welding Jar coming in. So maybe we'll trim one of each tutor. We brought 7 cards out. I think we'll sideboard like that. I think that's reasonable against what appears to be an aggressive red deck. Not with Obosh though. So interesting list for sure. It's always fun to play against cool brews that people have. I played against a mono black burn. I don't know, a league or two ago. My round 1 was mono black burn. So definitely lots of routes that you can go with a low to the ground aggressive deck. Sorry about that. This hand here is very nice. I think we'll keep it in this matchup. Yes, it doesn't have a Leyline, but I think overall it has Saga, a bit of hand disruption, Welding Jar to protect something, and we're good with that. It's definitely going to depend what they lead on. No Ragavan, I think, is a big deal here, as it can definitely put a lot of pressure on us early, and importantly, it does tend to hit very well against us, as there are a lot of hits in our deck for Ragavan. We are going to play Lantern here. We haven't seen any way that they can get turn 2 Blood Moon down without Ragavan turn 1, so we are going to let that happen. Seasoned Pyromancer, Boros Reckoner. So this is looking like it's a bit less aggressive than many burn decks, but Alright, them passing through here is definitely suspicious. I think there's a limited number of hands that they would keep that don't do anything on the first 2 turns, so I think it's decently likely that we're forced to spire into something else here. Whoa, I guess they were just keeping this hand on Blood Moon? I mean, obviously we take the Blood Moon here, and then they play like Boros Reckoner? Chandra? Yeah, we take Blood Moon here. Leave them with honestly, most of this stuff we don't really care about. Yes, Boros Reckoner can be a problem, but we are going to have this Leyline in the future. So I think we're just going to play Saga, make some 5/5s, as it's going to take them a little bit to really apply any pressure, and we probably are going to get a Needle for this Chandra. Now they have another Spyro in hand. I often, if you're not chatting too much with your opponent, it doesn't keep track of what cards you draw off, like your opponent draws off of Lantern. And so often I'll write down just in the chat the ones that we know about but don't show up as revealed. So Boros Reckoner is a fairly slow clock. Obviously we won't block it if it swings here. And another Leyline on top is not really what we want to see, but it is what it is. We're probably using this word to go get a bridge. But we do have to find a... Although, if we're able to hardcast a Leyline, I don't think we really care as much about Chandra's ultimate. We may be going for hardcast Leyline on this next turn. Planning to like get Codex Shredder off this Saga, hardcast, have 1 blocker up, hardcast Leyline, and then Whir for Ensnaring Bridge. I think that actually puts us in a pretty good spot. So we have options, that's for sure. And they do play the Soken Zen, which is very good. Yeah, this is kind of a bigger red deck than many. We can actually just kill Chandra. So they're gonna hit us down to 15. Spyro. Like we can, if we get Cookbook, we can kill Chandra, leaving them with 2 Spyros and a Bolt in hand, along with this Boros Reckoner. And we can kill Chandra and still play Leyline of Sanctity, discarding the second one. I think that's pretty good here, actually. I think. I mean, they are going to get to draw a few extra cards, but they do appear to be mono red. You know what? I think we're just going to make constructs. We're not really too concerned with what's in their hand. We're going to make significantly bigger creatures. But we will get the Codex Shredder here. This still allows us to kill Chandra and have some control over their top deck, as they are much less aggressive than a lot of builds of Burn are. So obviously this deck is kind of aiming to go a bit bigger than Burn usually tends to go, but I think overall we're definitely going to mill ourselves, and I'm not above thought seizing myself. I think we have to take 3 off of the Reckoner here, as if they give it first strike and then bolt it, we don't really want to lose a construct like that. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. They're going to Spyro, which is going to... Fortunately, Spyro is not a May ability, so they're going to have to... See Gemstone Caverns and a Den of the Bugbear, which they just played. So we know their hand is Spyro. They have a Bolt somewhere. Ah, Spyro's in right. They have, their hand is Bolt, Gemstone Caverns. And importantly here, they can't give the Reckoner first strike, because that would use up their Bolt mana. So I think we're pretty okay with that interaction. And we are going to mill ourselves here, as we don't want our third Leyline. It is definitely a very classic with this deck to draw Leyline kind of immediately after, like on your first mulligan or very early in the game, finding one. We have a couple options here. I mean, playing the Urza Saga, we either go for Whir of Invention. We can take the Bolt. I think if we Thoughtseize, they just bolt us. I'm trying to think if that's worth... Honestly, I think that might be worth it. Just forcing the Bolt out of them. We then could basically control the top of their library and can stop... Like, we're going to make 2 more creatures, and then we can get Cookbook, and I think we're in pretty good shape here. Yeah, this is one of the... Yep, they're going to bolt us. So we're going to be at 10, but their hand is just Gemstone Caverns. So we have a couple turns to get Cookbook and be in pretty good shape all around. You know, a lot of people say, you know, sideboard out Thoughtseize against Burn decks like that. I think this is totally incorrect. You basically never want to take out Thoughtseize. It is an extremely powerful card, and it basically always prevents at least like it prevents more damage than you take when playing it. So now here we are going to have to be a bit careful, as we don't have a ton. They are going to be able to pump out this Spyro in the graveyard is going to be able to make 2 1/1s, so will this one here. So we are going to have to be a touch cautious about when we decide to attack. But I think we'll have very good opportunities for that. And them drawing lightning axe here is pretty good. Like we don't really have like nothing is going to be within lightning axe range in like very soon. Okay, we win. They see that we're just going to keep making constructs. They know we have Leyline in hand. We get the round 1 victory against a big red deck. I guess that's the best name for it. Playing a bit slower than usual, just as talking through lines, but hopefully that won't hurt us too much in the next couple, and I will see you in round 2. As we get into game 2 here, once again on the play, always a nice spot to be. I think this hand is reasonable. We got some early interaction. Grafdigger's Cage can maybe shut something down. Definitely going to be a bit weird for them, seeing us lead on Grafdigger's Cage. I wonder if they're a force deck, just the way they paused there. They do play a Xander's Lounge. I mean, definitely more than few decks in Modern, but not a ton. Could say maybe there being a Grixis control deck here, something like that, with Snapcaster Mage and Force. This could be Domain. Now seeing Bitter Reunion, likely Creativity. Importantly, Grafdigger's Cage does not shut that down. But I think we're just going to take this moment while they are tapped out to slam an Ensnaring Bridge. It doesn't look like they had a ton of interaction for that, and if it's just... honestly, we probably just take... probably grab a Thoughtseize or something. They look like, yeah, they have... Reprieve is quite strong against it, but so we're gonna cast the Portable Hole on their Bitter Reunion, just ensuring that it doesn't have flash, or doesn't have haste, sorry, once anything comes down. We're gonna suspend this tutor again. Obviously it's not great. Tap mana, wrong. Right, appears I tapped my land slightly incorrectly. Creativity, I don't think is a great matchup. It's also not... Bloodstained Mire or Reflection of Kiki-Jiki? I think we're going to name the Reflection here. Just one singular Archon is not a huge deal. Them copying Archons forever. I guess there also could have been an argument for Boseiju here. It's a card they could play. Well, they did have the Fable in hand, which likely means we are looking at 2 Archons next turn. This nice glut of lands here is not great, but it is what it is. We do at least get to pass through here, so we're not using a ton of time. The one consideration on Needle was naming a fetch land. I'm surprised they didn't get a Dwarven Mine. I would have assumed that was the play there, but they could be going for a Persist. Is a card that they also often have. They do have another Wren, so if they have Boseiju here, we are in... but it doesn't look like they have Boseiju. They would have used it first if they did. I'm going to cast this tutor. It does resolve pretty instantly. And I think we just grab a Codex Shredder. I guess our other option is a Needle on Renin 6. But we have the Grafdigger's Cage, so we don't care about the retraceability. And we do get some hand disruption. We'll get to see what they're working with. Importantly, Reprieve is good against Profane Tutor, not very good against Inquisition in this scenario. And we'll take a Bolt. They are on very, very interesting draw for them, that's for sure. But creatures in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield, so we don't have to worry about persist. They have double Archon in hand, which means it's possible they only have one Archon left in the deck, and they're building up for hard casting an Archon. I think that might be the route they're going for. Obviously, leaving them with Thoughtseize is pretty free here. We're going to be empty-handed for the entire rest of the game. Them, Ren is going to provide some pretty good value here. We should have milled ourselves there. But Ren is pretty good value, just being able to thin their deck every turn. Huh. Well, that's fun. Alright, we are definitely in trouble. We need a bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, they're gonna needle our. They're binding our needle. This could mean that they have. I guess we just take the other bolt. Yeah, I guess we'll have to find something for the Archon. Yeah, we'll leave them with these bottom 4 in hand. Not ideal, but we can dig for another needle, because we will have to needle it eventually, as they are only 1 turn away from casting Archon, like hard casting Archon, and then being able to make copies of it with reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we are gonna kind of need something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We pop Shredder. We are in trouble here. They are going to interesting line they took from them. They're going to be able to hard cast an Archon here. I don't think it makes a big difference if we take the Archon, because we only had one hand disruption. We are getting a bit flooded. We never really need 6 lands on the battlefield. And this is going to put a pretty fast clock on us. We're going to keep milling ourselves. If we find either Whir of Invention or Pithing Needle, we are in alright shape. They should have used. Actually, we're going to cancel. No, we're going to cast the Duress here. Well, at least they do just have lands in hand. 1, 2 lands plus another Archon, I guess, which is far from ideal. So we kind of only have a few turns to find an answer to this. Yes, it's much less powerful when it can't attack, but we also need an answer to Ren. Say we're actually getting pretty behind here. Just both portable holes being out. It's definitely narrowing. I don't actually know what all we can have here. We can't answer both Reflection and Ren. I think another land pretty much seals the deal. We kind of need a needle to stop the. I think we die here. Yeah, I think they got us. We're gonna concede here. We only have one more needle main deck, so tough loss there. I think we're in a good position, and then got a bit unlucky with some flooding there. Yeah, so a bit of cold running, not the best for us there, but sideboarding, we definitely have answers for them. We have actually a large number of cards that are good. Leyline, importantly, Archon does say target opponent, so that kind of shuts that down. Torpor Orb is quite strong. Stone Brain is a maybe, and I could see some number of Get Lost and maybe a Welding Jar. None of these three are in. Portable Hull, used it for... I don't think the Hull is very useful in this matchup. Curse Totem, obviously if we're bringing in Pithing Needles, we don't really need it. Cookbook isn't super useful, as even if we have 2 cards in hand, they're usually not going to be able to attack with a whole lot. Grafdigger's Cage does shut down Persist, but it doesn't shut down the main creativity. Duress, Inquisition, Thoughtseize are all good. So I think we bring in these 4 for sure. And then Spellskite, I think it's still fairly decent. Kind of want these 4 in. Ashiok on the play, and then I can see cutting it on the draw. We are going to actually want some Get Lost as a bit of removal. I think actually Profane Tutor is pretty weak to Reprieve. So I think we can take it out, which gives us 9 slots coming in. We can probably trim 1 needle. That'll allow us to bring in 2 Get Lost, and then on the play we'll take it, or on the draw if we win, we'll take out the Ashioks. So we'll cut that there. Profane Tutor is a good card, but I think it's often reasonable to take it out, specifically against Teferi and Reprieve decks. We didn't see Teferi game 1, and it didn't look like their mana base was really built to play it game 1, but it isn't unheard of for creativity to play it. I mean, this hand is reasonable. We have Shredder, Thoughtseize action. We have an answer to first Archon. I think we keep this. They do play Thoughtseizes, so this Leyline should be hopefully relevant, and then hopefully we can just draw a bit better than we did last game. Maybe not an ideal 7, but I think it is reasonable. I think they didn't seem to have enough blue cards game 1 for Force, but it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world. Alright, we get a bit punished here for not playing Spire of Industry, but I think making constructs here is valuable. Gonna at least buy us some amount of time. And gonna pass through. Yeah, they're gonna have a few slower turns, but well, they're gonna Nature's Claim our Leyline, which likely means Thoughtseize coming here. And they probably go for our Thoughtseize. No, they go for our Get Lost. Okay, very interesting. Bauble here will allow us to bauble ourselves, get a bit more information, and we'll just do that on their end step. We are going to be able to hit them for a decent amount of damage. I'm kind of curious why they didn't go after the Urza Saga with that Nature's Claim. They may have more, but we kind of need a bridge here, but we're going to be looking for 3rd land, and then Saga's likely getting a Lantern, and hopefully with Lantern, 2 Shredders, taking a peek at what they have. They do know about Thoughtseize, so perhaps not super likely to work. They could have Tidebinder here. No, they don't. They did seem to pass through very quickly. We'll leave Darkslick Shores on top. It's one of our best hits here, as it allows us to still cast Thoughtseize. And then we can go get Lantern. They may crack this Scalding Tarn here. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to get Pithing Needle, swing for 4, swing for 5, hit him to 10, kill him next turn. I think Lantern's just a safer play. I was very tempted to get a Pithing Needle there and name Scalding Tarn, but you see double. I mean, we have We have whir on top. So creativity is not... I think we're actually in fairly good shape here. We're able to have pretty good control over what they draw, and they will only be able to creativity x equals 1, and then we can find ensnaring bridge. So with a land on top for them, okay, they're gonna Ren. I don't think we want them to be able to cycle it with their Triome that they have in hand, but we are going to wait till their upkeep, because as they go for this cycle here, now we can mill it. And yeah, if they draw into an Archon, I don't think hardcast Archon is going to be very relevant this game. But they are going to be able to get one Archon. I think they have to go for it, otherwise they do just die here. Got very, very annoying what's just revealed. Yeah, so we are going to have to mill a Leyline Binding, as we obviously don't want them to have that. And Veil of Summer here is not great, but it's not the end of the world. They have Veil. We're going to have to play a bit faster. One thing to note, once we get bridge down... Oh, it's our turn. Oh, I thought we skipped through beginning of combat for a second there. But once we get bridge down, we are going to be able to mill them pretty quickly here. They're going to move to combat, and we are... Right. Kind of forgot that creativity could target our artifacts. That's the reason why it's a bad matchup. Yeah, creativity can target our artifacts too. So they have 2 in hand at this point. But we can, drawing another whir is pretty strong. Although they are gonna... Okay, definitely behind here. I think creativity is... That's Oh man. Well, they did happen to hit our one torpor orb. That's hilarious. Leyline. Do not want to draw a Leyline here. Are gonna mill it. Hitting our one of torpor orb. We can bobble into Whir of Invention. Otherwise we die. If we mill it, we can hit Whir of Invention or bridge. Yeah, I think we... Well, we are going to lose this one. Yeah, they swing, they hit us for 6, 12, double Archon trigger. Alright, yeah, we are dead here. As funny as that torpor orb was, creativity being able to destroy our bridges is very relevant here. I think overall, I think I was still fairly satisfied with how that game went. It's a tough loss, but like it is a rough matchup for us. You can't win all of them, and I'm sure we'll get them back in game 3. Game 3, we finally get one on the draw. The 5-0 dream is dead, but we can still fight for a winning record here. I'll give them a bit of time to make sure that they want the play. If you're still at this point, hopefully the audio levels are all right. I'm recording this as one video, so I can't really go back and check each time that the audio levels are are good, but I'm hoping that they are all right for people. On this hand, we have a bit of early removal and Saga, but I think this hand just leans very heavily on Saga, and if this isn't a matchup where Urza Saga is a good card, I don't think it's a very good hand, so I think we can just do a lot better. This is not better, we'll go down to 5. This is much better. We're going to ditch the Inquisition and the Pithing Needle. Yeah, on the draw, I don't hate this hand. I think Ensnaring Bridge is one of our best cards against the metagame as a whole, so it's good card to have. Obviously, if we get grief scammed here, we are pretty sad. I haven't actually run into scam in a little bit, so might be time here. You know, it's a bit different filming or like recording when playing live as opposed to replays. Obviously, when I make the replay content, I can very much control how quickly, you know, the speed of it goes. Ooh, we got Titan again. Well, this is gonna be fun. Turn. Double Titan into the One Ring. Well, we gotta take Titan. The ring is pretty redundant here. So we'll take the Titan, and importantly, we don't have Surgical to find. This is a very sketchy hand. I'm surprised. Wow, I'm quite surprised that they kept this. We're going to take Primetime and try to find a Pithing Needle. Importantly, we can get turn 3 Needle with Whir of Invention, provided we draw one artifact over, like either a bubble over the next 2 turns or something else. Otawara in hand will be something to watch out for, but it looks like they are going to have to play it. Obviously, we have to needle it at some point, but not yet. We're just going to play a bauble, not cast it, as we're going to try to respond with Whir of Invention to this One Ring if they play it. And yeah, Otawara will be a concern in the future. Oh, they find a Sanctuary, which is going to let them play the One Ring now. We'll let them draw a card. Does mean we have to play. So you have a Sanctuary in hand. I think Titan is one of our worst matchups in Modern. They are very favored against us. They're extremely fast, and we lack a lot of. Oh, Grazer, that's nice. We lack a lot of key interaction against them, so they are often free to pop off pretty hard. Importantly, they also have 2 axes on which they can kill us, either by playing Titan and going for that kind of more combo line, or they don't want to play. Okay, I mean, this is a line for sure. Okay, I think we're just gonna hold Whir here. Interesting, making constructs when they have ring in hand. I mean, if they are just making constructs, we're not too worried about it. Grabbing a second Amulet. They do play this Otawara, but importantly, it is their only blue mana, so that's definitely some puzzling decisions here. I'm just gonna fire off a Whir of Invention. We're gonna grab Needle on Ring, as we know they have 2 of them. And then, unfortunately, game 1, we don't have a ton of needles, and Titan is can be a very hard matchup to mulligan against, because we often need a lot of resources if we're going to be able to beat them, and obviously mulligans take away a lot of those. Now we will be able to ditch, like just play Ensnaring Bridge here without too much worry. We're going to play the Coast because we don't have anything we can draw into. So they have one unknown in hand, and we will bauble them in their upkeep to see what it is. Oh, they are finding a Primeval Titan, which is pretty strong. I mean, if they just play a ring, do we have Needle for that? Not having a land is pretty good. Okay, Profane Tutor, I like that. Double Bridge gives us some protection against Odawara, as they are only really likely to be playing one main deck. Yeah, I think one main deck is pretty standard, although it will let them bounce the Pithing Needle. They have one unknown in hand. It could be another Titan. Could be a Summoner's Pact. They are going to be able to cast Titan here. I think we're likely in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they could be able to cast Titan, get enough lands. With 2 amulets, they can probably... They can't bounce both bridges. They return Odawara. They can bounce Needle, which will let them draw. They're going to go get some lands with Prime Time. Well, at this point, we can kind of just sit back and let them do their thing. If they kill us, they kill us. If they don't, they don't. They can go get Beseiju. I guess they want to do that over... So they can transmute the Teleria West to get Beseiju. A lot of lines available to them here. I think there's going to be a video of another match where I lost in 2 to Amulet next week, but we actually had another prime time, eh? We actually had a fairly close game, and I think we had like game 2 in that other game. We had a lot of sideboard cards that played key roles. Like we weren't just blown off the board, kind of like we were here. Although I guess drawing 5 lands is pretty unfortunate. So we'll see. We are most likely dead, but we'll make them show it. A bit unfortunate. You can definitely skip through a little bit of this, as I would not blame you at all if you hit the forward arrow a little bit. Probably, I don't think I'll skip through it when I edit. It'll likely just be me rambling about how bad of a matchup Amulet is. There are kind of a few different approaches that we can take when in our either sideboard or main deck plan. People have talked about Divest a bit, which is a... if I pull it up here for you while they're doing this. Give me 1 second. We will switch to... Try to switch to it. Nope. Wrong tab there. Give me 1 second. They're still going. Oh, whatever. Divest just is a target player discards an artifact, kind of a Thoughtseize variant. They're going to transmute Teleria West to get Beseiju. They now have Beseiju and Odawara with 5 mana, which is not enough to answer both of them this turn. So we need either another Pithing Needle or another Bridge or a Welding Jar or another land. Lovely. We're dead. Now we're just going to concede here for the sake of time. Pretty rough game there. Yeah, they have Beseiju plus Odawara, so they're going to be able to answer both bridges and go in for the big attack. In terms of sideboarding, we do have some answers that I think Ashiok is very strong against them.
Torpor Orb is good. Stone Brain, Damping Sphere, Get Lost, Pithing Needle. So we gotta needle those lands. And Welding Jar, somewhat useful. What do we want out? Curse Totem. Portable Hole still answers Amulet. Grafdigger's Cage. And then from here, really, we just have to find. Give me 1 second. You're gonna notice a jump in the clock. I just gotta check some sideboarding things. All right, sorry, we might notice a bit of a jump here. We're just checking how we had sideboarded in some earlier games. Just doing a bit of trimming. Whir is fairly slow. I think we'll go up to 62. We can trim a bubble. And we'll go with this. Ashiok is pretty good on the play against them. Less powerful on the draw, as they can usually pop off before then. Here we keep. I think we'll just try to rely on Ashiok. We do have Portable Hole as an answer to one card name. Amulet of Vigor. If they play a Vigor here, we are going to be able to answer it before they're able to do anything too strong with it. Yep, and exile that. Maybe Spire of Industry. Just if we draw something like Thoughtseize, next turn we may go for Thoughtseize, Suspend Profane Tutor. Map. No, in this case we are going to just slam Ashiok here. This should be fairly strong if we can hide behind Bridge, and importantly we don't. I don't think we mill them here, because if they play a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, it has 2 power, and so that takes 3 turns to kill Ashiok, whereas if we down tick Ashiok, it only takes 2, which I think is enough worthwhile in order to double Urza's Saga. This is hopefully going to be pretty good. Let's play Glimmer Void, see what they are working with. Well, we can leave them with the Summoner's Pact. Dryad, like I talked about. Grazer, we're just going to take the 1 ring here. And yeah, like we said, Ashiok shuts down most of their hand. And if they make 2 constructs, they can't attack with one of them. So we're just gonna chill for a bit here. Let them realize that they can't get anything off of Urza's Saga, and Ashiok is very good against them. We'll see. We still have a long way to go. Oh, they do make another construct. The fact that they're taking their entire turn to make construct. Oh, and they draw Teleria West. Beautiful. We kind of need. Oh, Urza's Saga for us. Oh, how nice. All right, so we need about 2 turns without them drawing anything that interacts with them, and we may actually be able to pull out a win here. They don't really use their graveyard much, so I think we're better off. If we get a Lantern, one thing you can do with Ashiok is kind of use the mill effect almost like a mill rock. We still know all 4 cards that they have in their hand, and none of them kill us yet. So we have, Profane Tutor and Urza's Saga are both going to come off on the same turn. Holy flood. But hopefully we can draw something useful. Although we do kind of just need them to fade for 1 turn. Ashiok, obviously huge MVP here. Between both the sagas being shut down, this map being shut down, they can't get Boseiju or anything like that. Their Summoner's Pact being shut down. There's just a huge chunk of their deck, and there's So they're going to play this Dryad that we knew about, but not another land, which means I think there's a pretty limited number of cards. Like they could have a ring in hand, which obviously wouldn't be good. They could have a Primeval Titan, which wouldn't even be the end of the world. So we get Lantern off this and Shredder off of, oh, beautiful here. And so we're gonna make a second body. You know, if they grab a Codex Shredder with this, and then play Lantern here, and we know that most of their deck we don't care about at this point, and it's definitely going to depend on what their last card in hand was, but I think we're in a, I mean, this is definitely a comfortable position, I would say. Like they have one unknown in hand, and I think a lot of it from here, it's just going to kind of come down to what that unknown was. Gruul Turf, they don't have any way of untapping it right now. They don't have any way of getting a way of untapping it. So I think we let them draw it, but I am going to mill myself here to hopefully draw us into, oh, I thought this is perfect. We're now going to get to see whether their one card in hand is something relevant that we have to mill, or if it's something that we shouldn't be too worried about. If it's something like the ring here, I think that we're probably win. Let's see. I think like we are, yeah, I don't know what, they could have drawn a Boseiju. Force of Vigor. Holy mamma mia. I mean, this is bad, obviously. Alright. This is far from good, but we do have we're gonna take a pact. Just leave them with the Grazer and Pact here, and importantly, I mean, this Profane Tutor is going to be pretty good. If they try to kill Ashiok, we can kill one of them. So they can kill Ashiok if they want to kill it, but we will be able to eat a good chunk of their board here. We'll let them draw land. Prime time, if they go to draw it, we will not let them draw. Alright, yeah, Force of Vigor, I guess they were hoping to get enough. I wonder if they send some at us. Because if they send some, oh, if they only attack with 2 constructs and not the Dryad, we can keep Ashiok around. So they do send all 3 at Ashiok, which does mean that we are able to blow up one of them, which will shrink the other and let us... Oh, it won't shrink the other one. Oh, man. Oops. Well then. And they're both going at Ashiok? Yeah, I don't even think we block here. Whoops. Okay. Did not think about the downside of... Alright, well, we are definitely on the back foot. Very unfortunate that their one blind draw kind of that mattered ended up being a Force of Vigor. Like if they drew a 1 ring, Primeval Titan, there's a lot of cards that don't matter if they draw, but they happen to find the one that did. We still maybe have a shot if I mean, they're going to use this for Beseiju, I would assume. Or maybe an Urza's Saga to get an Amulet of Vigor. So, like, I mean, we still have some... I mean, our winning percentage is not 0. Obviously, this is a very hard matchup all around. You know, we can see they get one draw through. It is kind of poor running. Would have been nice if they had found something other than Force of Vigor to draw, but and they get a Valakut, which would have been another reason to save the Get Lost for the Dryad. So I think we're probably going to have to mill the Profane Tutor. We're going to want a bridge sooner. If we do find bridge, we'd be able to... what do they have on top? Grilled Turf? Yeah, you got it. Beseiju, we will not let them have. So unfortunately, we do have to use... yep. Bounce a land. Oh, they can bounce the Teleria West. Alright, may have slightly punted by not milling the... or not killing the Dryad with the Get Lost. Definitely thought we were just going to be able to shrink the construct and then be able to block it. We just die if we don't have something here. Well, that isn't something. We are pretty dead, but we will we'll play it out. Like they just have enough interaction and such for us that we are likely very dead. This Valakut is going to kill us. We are unable to keep them off of enough cards that Valakut won't kill us. So I think this is, I mean, my second round in a row where I've had a close game too, but kind of wound up disappointed. So I may, you know, if you are an Amulet player and you'd be interested in testing this matchup, I would love to work on it because I think it's one of... they get a prime time here. We're dead. You know, if you would be interested in testing this matchup, I would love to get some work in on it. So if prime time is one of your decks and Lantern has to be another one, would love to work with you on that. Either let me know. I guess the best way of reaching me if you have questions, right, is through the Lantern Control Discord. I am quite active on there, and just shoot me a message and say, hey, want to test Titan, and I would be very, very open to that, as it is... I don't know if you have any ideas of how to make the Titan matchup better, whether that's sideboard slots, main deck construction. I don't think it's always a careful balance of how much you want to hedge towards one matchup and then how much percentage points you lose in other matchups. I think, like, if we don't want to make Titan a good matchup at the cost of, you know, Scam and Murktide, which tend to play similarly. So it'll have to be balanced at any rate, but would love to hear other people's thoughts on that. But we have a game 4 to focus on here, and we'll be on the draw once again. Let our opponent decide that they are going to play first. Hopefully, you know, we can showcase. Let's do double bauble, welding jar, Pixis. We can get an early Lantern. Probably use Shredder. I mean, it's greedy, but I don't think it's the worst keep in the world. We're on the draw. We have double bauble plus Shredder can help find us a lot. I mean, if they have like a March of Otherworldly Light, we cry and do nothing. But in turn 1 Saga, I mean, we're going to be probably aggressively finding a Lantern. Pendelhaven is either Infect or Yawgmoth are the two decks that play it. Not going to be seen commonly in anything else. A double Saga I don't hate here. Welding jar. Vicious Bauble. One good news is that if it is infect, this hand is going to be empty pretty quickly. And then we are going to bauble ourselves here, because if this is a Thoughtseize is not useful in this scenario, as we only have colorless producing lands. We do find a Lantern, which is pretty good. We may be going for Flawless. Oh, they're on Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, so they're pro and Nykthos. I mean, I like it. It's spicy. I think it's a decision not to play that on turn 1, but so we're gonna have to find a needle at some point for Boseiju, but we can probably our first grab with I don't know what. I mean, they're playing Nykthos, which is obviously going to be green heavy. I think we let them have another Elvish Reclaimer and focus on getting ourselves a bridge. I think this is a pretty reasonable matchup. Hierarch is a card that can attack underneath Ensnaring Bridge, but if they are, I mean, they're on 2 lands, which, yes, they can get more with Reclaimer, but that is just kind of 1 for 1. And we're going to float mana. I wonder if they activate Reclaimer in response here. I am somewhat interested to see what they get. Verdant Catacombs. Okay, oh, and they are playing Grief. That is interesting to note, but I am going to continue with the original plan of Needle on Boseiju. I think it's a very likely card for them to have here. They might be playing a Scam package with, I mean, this could be like Golgari Scam. And we're just gonna run out a Saga. I mean, these are pretty good sized constructs here that we are gonna make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, so 2 10/10s. Don't mind if I do. I think the plan is to keep them relatively off lands here, as they, if they're using Reclaimer to just get a fetch land, I think we're pretty happy with that all around. Yeah, Pendelhaven seems like a weird inclusion, likely just a one of. Grist, obviously, we won't let them have here. They are going to be able to make Elvish Reclaimer. Oh, that's fine. I mean, if they have Grief Scam here, I think we're still in a pretty reasonable position. I wonder if seeing nothing, if they will. Okay, they are going to bring it back with Not Dead after all, but I think we're still in a pretty good position here. 3 cards in hand. We don't know any of them anymore. They're going to get in for 1. Although the only pressure that they can kind of reasonably put on us is Grief at this point. Although even Grief at this point, unless they have double Fatal Push in hand, like, we're just making creatures significantly bigger than yours. I mean, just make big creatures? I definitely could have. I guess we let him hit the land. Gets +2/+2. I don't know what all they can get that's relevant. And we do kind of have enough creatures that dig that we can hopefully find a bridge when we need it. So the 3rd land, I don't know what all it turns on in their deck, but hopefully nothing too much. If they swing, okay, they're just going to swing with grief. We have enough turns that I'm not too concerned with grief. Grist. Alright, we are just going to grab a pithing needle with grist, name Grist. Not too concerned. They have one unknown in hand. And I think at this point, we're not going to be attacking too much with constructs. So we're just going to draw this duress, as probably most of what we care about can get hit by duress. Profane Tutor is going to be bridge in a couple turns here. And importantly, we do now have enough blockers to hit grief, which is very important. Grist, the Hunger Tide. And then, yeah, two 9/9s is pretty good on this board. And yeah, hopefully, okay, they have a grief in hand, which will be able to take our Profane Tutor, but we are somewhat stalled out, and we have an easier time digging for what we need than they do, probably. So they are not great, them taking Profane Tutor, but they don't have any good attacks. We are going to Pixis this land on top, as we don't want to turn on the Elvish Reclaimers for free. Importantly, Fiend Artisan is cool. I don't think we want to let them have Fiend Artisan, but we'll use Pixis to mill both of us. Cursed Totem. I don't actually hit it here. It seems pretty good against them. Not like insanely good, but as a pretty reasonable draw. And I will take this position. You know, we're in, both of us are in top deck mode with us having the lockdown. So a lot of their creatures have been reduced very vanilla. The peatland, I don't love them drawing, but it's not, again, not a huge problem. They're probably going to use it to redraw the Bowmasters, and I think we let them have that. We are going to be, like, we're digging for a bridge. We have 3 Ensnaring Bridges and 4 Whir of Inventions, plus 3 Profane Tutors. They don't go for a big attack, which is important here. I mean, it would probably be incorrect to go for that attack. Alright, yeah, you can draw Bowmasters. And you can even ping me for 1 if you want to. So Fiend Artisan with, it's going to be big, but not anything that we care about. Importantly here, we are going to be able to cast Spellskite, and if they don't play Bowmasters in response, we'll be able to redirect the ping to Spellskite. But they may do that. I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this position. We got 36 cards, and what did we say? 3, 7, 10 hits between either tutors or bridge directly. So I mean I think we take this. We got full control over what they draw right now. If they swing, block here, take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, we may have to mill this Fiend Artisan, as it is pretty good sized creature. And I think they are Endurance. Yeah, they can have an Endurance. Not really relevant here. I wonder if they decide to swing full out. We can always block. No, we can still eat most of their board if we do. I mean, endurance, like long term, I'm not too worried about it. Clock is going to become a bit of a factor. We're gonna Pixis first, and Grist we can let them have. I don't want a portable hole. Word of Invention. All right, we have bridge here, so we are in good shape. We managed to find it. Importantly, we are playing Academy Ruins, and yeah, we have Academy Ruins. We won't mill out. And okay, they were just running out endurance. I guess they don't know. I mean, it's like definitely correct to. Who do they target with that? I guess they targeted nobody? Because they want access to their graveyard and they want to leave us with access to our graveyard? I mean, it seems like an interesting decision for sure. Not one I would have made, but. And here we go. I suspect that we'll probably, after we cast this, this equals 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's show him the power of Ensnaring Bridge. Though we do the Codex Shredder on top, I will take that. From here on out, we're just going to leave them with no ways of drawing extra cards. I think there's probably almost nothing in their deck that we care about. Though I come to think of it, I do forget what their unknown on top is, but like in their hand. But I don't believe it. Oh, it's the second Grist. Yeah, so we can pretty safely just yield to next end step here, and oh, they concede. They know what's up. Yeah, I'd say pretty clean win there. I think this is a pretty reasonable matchup, and we can take advantage of any kind of stumbling out of the gate early. We're gonna bring in Ley Lines, Needle. They definitely have Beseiju in there somewhere, and Curse Totem actually looked pretty decent that game. In terms of what we're taking out, Cookbook is not super relevant. Grafdigger's Cage did. They might have Urza Saga in there, which means they could have Haywire Might. We didn't see an Urza Saga in half their deck, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I do like trimming some number. Maybe we don't bring in. We leave the one Curse Totem that's there, but don't bring the second one in. We want 6 out. Well, they have Grist, Beseiju, Elvish, Reclaimer. Yeah, I think that's enough for 3. For 4, probably just use 3 Needles. Ashiok seems too slow for this matchup. Yeah, just so 5 cards out. Gonna trim. Cage is good against Scam. Double Bubble. And then maybe 1 Word of Invention and 1 Profane Tutor. Just have a bit of a balance. I don't know what. Maybe we just take out 2 Word of Inventions. Oh, I guess they also have Fiend Artisan for Pithing Needle. I think we'll run it like that. Can't be too incorrect. Alright, on the draw, would be a beautiful hand if we did not have Glimmer Voids. Would love it if there were no Glimmer Voids, but unfortunately we're just going to lose too many lands if we do that. This one I will definitely keep, put probably Watery Grave to the bottom. Then we'll use Bauble and Shredder to hopefully find some better cards. Thoughtsy is to take Force of Vigor is probably their main hate that I would suspect from them, but yeah, Yeah, I guess they're some sort of cross between Yogg and Scam. Like they have, I mean, they're maybe not Yogg. Like they don't have the Yogg piece, but huh. We're gonna take the Haywire Might, let them play. I wonder if they'll play EE on 1, because that kills a lot of their own stuff. We're going to take the Haywire Might because we're going to try to play Urza Saga as our second land here, and we definitely want them to be in a difficult position with this engineered explosives on, in terms of which number they put it on. So they probably run out a Reclaimer. Okay, double Reclaimer, so we know they have one ring and engineered explosives in hand. I don't really see them casting EE on 1, especially not in this board. I mean, they might, but I think them playing it on 0 is much more likely. And then here, I mean, we're going to use Bauble on ourselves before. Actually, drawing a lantern is very nice here, as it allows us to get Needle with Saga. Although we are going to hold up Saga to make construct tokens. I wonder what land they go get with this. But I suspect EE on 1 or EE on 0. But they'll probably try to play and pop it in one turn, which does mean we can end step make a construct. Nykthos doesn't make too much extra mana here. I mean, Nykthos is net neutral. It does make their Reclaimers bigger, but so be it. Oh, Leyline of Sanctity, right on time. I guess we're not getting griefed. Although they could, it is possible that they took grief out. I don't think it's overly likely. We do play Urza Saga, which is a very strong card against grief. Here we're just going to take 6. Force them to either play the EE if they want to hold it up. But if they tap out for the ring, we are in. I mean, we're going to be able to put pressure on them. I don't know what all hate they can have. Obviously, Force of Vigor is going to be quite strong. But we kind of have to get a needle on this engineered explosives that we know about. Bit of a devil you do, devil you don't. But we're going to be able to get multiple constructs bigger than their Reclaimers. Grab this needle on engineered explosives. Oh, come on. Sorry, just a bit. Engineered explosives. I'm starting to be a bit conscious of how much time we have left. I don't love our clock situation. Shieldred on top. We can't mill that now, so we are going to have to upkeep mill it. And we're likely going to fight over it. I suspect that they will. Nope. They're just going to. Okay. Alright, they're going to draw. And of course, they draw Force of Vigor. Wonderful. Oh, come on. Okay, we're in trouble for sure. We need not Ensnaring Bridge, need discard. They can just hard cast for. Oh, we're dead. We're at 6. I did not realize we were so low. Yep, they swing for 6, and very, very unfortunate draw for them there. Yeah, because I guess again, Force of Vigor is getting us hard. if I will say about Force of Vigor, it is probably the most broken card of the free spell cycle. It is kind of ridiculous. All of Force of Negation, I think, is a abundantly fair card, as you are trading 2 cards in your hand for 1 card in your opponent's. Yes, it's a big tempo swing, but and it allows you to do things like Living End and Rhinos do, where they protect their combo on their opponent's turn. However, you're still at the end of the day going down like 2 for 1, whereas with Force of Vigor, you take 2 cards from your hand for 2 cards from your opponent. They've spent all the mana investment. You don't have to put any mana into it. It's a very obscene card. I think we have to assume they'll still have some aspects of scam in there, so we'll leave the ley lines in. And orb isn't really useful. Kind of want the last needle. Now that we see engineered explosives, I think maybe we bring it in for a Smellskite. And let's run it like this. Hopefully game 3 on the play we can get pretty nice opener. Maybe see less than like 3 problematic cards in their hand when we Thoughtseize would be good. Beautiful. Yep, keep. Watergrave, take 2. Nope. Because we have the full lock in hand, I'm going to play Bauble first. Peek, see if it's something that... Well, it's a forest. So it's not something that we are worried about. What's more worrisome? Assassin's Trophy or Engineered Explosives? I think we're going to take the Explosives. Trophy is going to take them a decent amount of time to get set up. And I think we're going to be able to get Lantern Shredder under it. And we have I guess Welding Jar is our answer to it. You play the Halfling in the forest we knew about. Leyline, right on time, never fails. Hasn't failed me yet. It is pretty remarkable how often you seem to draw Leyline. It could be a bit of you just remember the times you draw Leyline more, but and importantly with Assassin's Trophy we have Academy Ruins on top here, which isn't a blue source for Whir, but I think is a nice pickup. We're going to be able to get back anything that they Force of Vigor. They're going to play this Fiend Artisan out. Yeah, okay, so they are swinging, which is important. If they say Fulminator Mage. Huh. Well, another card that we gotta mill. I wonder if they have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We haven't seen it yet, but very much could be something that they play. Hierarch we have to have an answer to in the future, but we'll be able to find something there. I just remembered Assassin's Trophy has no downside against us because we do not play basics. Stupid greedy mana base. Well, maybe they don't play it for a little bit. Maybe this isn't an Assassin's Trophy that they're tapping for. Yeah. Maybe we should have a basic island. It feels so bad to draw it when you have like, hands with basic island hand disruption. Oh, maybe they'll pitch it to Grief. That'd be pretty good, actually. But the hands, like I'm so torn on it. Like it looks, you get games like this where you really want that island to get off Assassin's Trophy. Still, they do not have Trophy up here. They do have Fiend Artisan. Well, if they have Collector Oof here, then we're in trouble. Hey, where am I? Fun. Oh, we're dead. Like, we are unbelievably cooked here. And we will mill them. I guess we can suspend another tutor. But we are still pretty cooked. Tough round 4 here. Trying to think if there's anything we could have played differently in that second game, which I think was closer than this game. I mean, no, I think it's just indicative of kind of how many sideboard cards they are printing for our strategy. Like are they going after the Codex Shredder? All right. So we have to get hand disruption for Assassin's Trophy. No, we get bridge, and then are gonna use the profane tutor to get a welding jar, or sorry, be able to have word held up for welding jar. And we don't have. So we grab bridge, needle on top, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 6 here. Oh man. I think we gotta draw this blue land soon. So I think kind of have to. Come on. If we play bridge here, I mean it's gonna eat an Assassin's Trophy, but it's better. Maybe we shouldn't have sacked. It might have been a bit aggressive. Aren't they gonna wait for bridge to resolve? Yeah, we're dead here. Rough. Okay, goes. I mean, they blow up bridge. They attack for 5, 6, 7. I wonder if they hardcast grief here. Oh, they got 5 green already. Yeah. Yep. This is I mean, maybe they're only playing 1 Fulminator Mage. Hopefully they're only playing 1 Fulminator Mage. Grist. Man, are we cooked. And Hierarch can attack under bridge, so we need another answer. Yeah, we're dead. Dead. Definitely. So, I mean, we grab a bridge here, as we got to stop the bigger attackers. But I don't think there's definitely not another needle. Yeah, they hit us for 2 here. I mean, honestly, like them playing grief, I don't even care about. Now if they play, so they probably take the Word of Invention, which is actually good. Helps us get a few more cards out of our hand. We'll be playing Needle on Grist, as it's gonna be able to finish us off for the last. Oh, they do take the Needle. Okay, I mean that's probably the correct play on their part. We can like get it back. I mean, if they have Rex Sage here, we're dead. They have another Hierarch. Oh, we're so. I feel bad if I like concede early. Like if I was not making a video of this, I would concede here. Like there's no. I don't think there's any world where we win this game, but I'll just play it out just to be shown. And we also sideboarded out Cookbook, I believe. Yeah, we cited out cookbook. So we can play ley line. You usually want to get, though we can also get, so we can get Pixis plus Word of Invention out of our deck here. I mean, they kill us in 3 turns. 2 turns actually, because we gotta pay a second white, and they can swing with a 1/1 right now. Yeah, we die. Alright, well, that was rough round 4, but hopefully we can claw our way back to a 2-3 in round 5. Alright, 5th and final round, we get to start it on the play, which is always a good sign. Very solid hand here. We got bridge, bit of hand disruption. You're gonna go for that turn 1 Inquisition into have some removal in Portable Hole, and let's see what we're up against. Hopefully no force negation. Well, they are pausing long enough that they... Holy smokes, mono blue Belcher. Gotta be honest, I've never seen mono blue Belcher in my life, and this is the wrong hand for that. I mean, we take the force. Mono blue Belcher. Well, I mean, let me know if you've seen this deck before. I mean, I've played many times against like regular Belcher with red, but mono blue was a new one. I don't know what I would have thought they were on if they... I mean, we have like Pithing Needle main deck, Pithing Needle sideboard. I think we have a lot of answers to it. They play the Benian Veil. Okay, they play the backside of this land. Thoughtseize is another one of those answers, so we will Thoughtseize them. Hopefully they didn't draw force here. Subtlety we don't care about, so we can get rid of those, and we'll take the Belcher. Gotta be honest, this is a pretty spicy deck list, but I guess this is what you get in the 1-4 bracket. We are just gonna run out a naked Portable Hole here, and because we still want to be able to tap the Spire for colored mana. Disrupting Shoal. Well, alright then. I mean, this is a card. Importantly, they have 3, 7, 4, 5 in hand. Is going to be important to keep track of what they do have in hand. They now no longer have a 5. We do know all 5 cards that they have. You run into some strange things on the 1-4 bracket, that's for sure. I think this bridge we are unlikely to cast. There may be a world where it comes up with Subtlety, but I don't think that's super likely. I think postboard we are heavily favored. Seagate Reborn. They left 3 mana up, likely for the Saloon Vision, which allows them to get an instant or sorcery. For Shoal, yeah, go figure. I mean, likely at this point we are just tutoring for an Urza Saga in order to put pressure on and put pressure on and eventually get a Needle that we don't have to fight through counter spells. We're just gonna pass through here. Very interesting deck from our opponent, but I think postboard we have. I mean, like sideboard. I think just mulliganing to Leyline is. I mean, they probably play like no, they can't play Otawara. They're playing Charbelcher. They probably have a few answers to it, but I doubt they have many. We have things like the Stone Brain, more Needles. Are you gonna counter this? Disrupting Shoal, pitching a... Oh, they just hard cast it. That seems... okay, would... Importantly, Disrupting Shoal is just counterspell for Profane Tutor. So when it comes off suspend here, they will have a decision to make. I mean, I guess I think I could see them holding it. Very interesting deck. Against regular Char Belcher, I think we are likewise still very favored. We can trim like all our bridge copies. The lock is very good against them, and we naturally have just a lot of hate for their plan. All right, they don't counter that for some reason. I mean, so this either means they don't have a counter spell, or they want to counter whatever we tutored for. Now kind of regret not tutoring for a blue land here, drawing the second whir, but we will make it work. They're going to play Saloon Vision. They're going to play Subtlety. Those are the two cards we know about. They are just going to run out a Naked Subtlety. Alright, well, we got 5 turns to kill them. And we have an Ensnaring Bridge in hand. So I am... My worriedness about Subtlety is very low. They're going to play the Isle. That seems incorrect. I think I would have held that in order to dig for more gas. But, I mean, it's not my deck that I'm piloting there. So. And here... we're just going to make constructs with Saga. I guess you could suspend another tutor, but I think if they had Tidebinder, they would have used it on the Saga getting the... oh. Alright, well that is a 2-turn clock. That kind of makes me wish I had just jammed Ensnaring Bridge, but we do know they only have 2 cards in hand. I mean, let's hope we draw land. Wow, these subtlety beats are actually probably going to get there. Like, I'm assuming they have some form of counter magic in hand. Did not have that on my bingo card for this league, but is definitely an interesting last round. I will say that. Cursed Totem. Well, we have to get Cookbook in order to discard cards, but we still die, I think, here. Yeah, we can only discard down to 3 cards in hand. Yeah, we're just dead. Probably shouldn't have showed them the Ensnaring Bridge or the Underworld's Cookbook, but it might make them think we don't have Pithing Needle. Huh. Yeah, definitely fairly slow getting our 3rd land there. Spellskite is good. It can redirect Belcher target. We have a fair number of easy cuts. Cookbook here. Welding Jar is not useful. Grafdigger's Cage is not useful. All the Disruption is very good. Cursed Totem is not useful. What do we want to bring in? More Needles. More Ley Lines of Sanctity. Get Lost does not destroy artifacts, importantly. Void Mirror is useless. Stone Brain. And I think we probably go with it. I guess we can cut some bridges. I do sometimes get a bit nervous. There's kind of a bit of a catch-22 when you're playing, when you cut Ensnaring Bridge. You know, it's usually, like, it's a very dead card if you draw Urza's Saga and you're making constructs, but if you don't draw Urza's Saga, then you often still need Bridge, because they can usually find something. I approach this similar to Mill, where I usually take out all but one Ensnaring Bridge, just to, well, often I take out them all. But you know, they could see the argument for leaving leaving in 1 just to get with a tutor when you really need it, when they go with subtlety beatdowns. And Magic Online is just experiencing some temporary issues. Computer is just having a bit of a struggle. Hopefully the audio on this section is not terrible. We're just going to pause it for a second here. Alright, we are back. Sorry, Moto just crashed for a bit there. Let's see, it did not get our sideboarding. This is rather unfortunate, as we do have to play against them with our game 1 setup, and I think we mulligan. You know, with double hand disruption, I think we can actually keep this. Yeah, very very unfortunate that Moto did not. Well, that's too bad that we didn't get the sideboarding that we would have liked here, as it is going to be. I think it gets significantly easier in game 2. Oh, disrupting Shoal, exiling a preordain. All right. I mean, yeah. So like this portable hole here, obviously we weren't keeping it in for game 2, and I did kind of talk through sideboarding decisions, but yeah, kind of Moto sort of crashed as we were doing the end of the sideboarding, and I guess it was once we had moved the cards in, but not clicked submit, so they force negation, pitching, disrupting Shoal. All right, they must have something in hand. I mean, this is going to be harder for sure. We would like a third land. We can whir for Pithing Needle. Well, they do have 3 cards left. I think a Saga here is still pretty good. Glimmer Void, we're likely going to use it on their upkeep to get Lantern. Yeah, I think just the selection for us, I think, is more important, as they're still. I mean, they might be 2 turns away from winning. Oh, for crying out loud! Well, yeah, we cannot pay for that, so we're gonna get countered. I mean, I still stand by thinking this is a good matchup for us, but not if we don't sideboard. Then yeah, Welding Jar is basically dead. Academy Ruins, I guess we should have been milling ourselves a touch more aggressively there. So if they just play a Belcher here, oh, they're stuck on 3 lands. Okay, well, we catch a bit of a break here. I guess this mono blue version having access to more permission pieces, means it has less rituals. This we will take. And if it gets countered, eating a card from their hand. I mean, if it gets force negation, that's Goblin Char Belcher. Like Welding Jar and Portable Hole, I guess we're both coming out, so maybe we should have mulliganed more aggressively, but I think we still have a decent number of live draws here. They do importantly find that 4th land, which will allow them to play Belcher should they draw it. And here, importantly, we are now able to use Codex Shredder to get cards back. Won't be something that we're doing quite yet, but is a line in the future. They could be going for like an untap, remove needle, or end step remove. Like end step, remove needle, and then play and activate Charbelcher in 1 turn. We're going to try to see what they're working with. Oh, they have Thoracle. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. So we are basically dead. And Torpor Orb is in our sideboard, right? Yep. I mean, this is an interesting deck, that's for sure. I mean, we're dead if they draw another land, so we're gonna hope that they don't draw another land, or that we draw a discard spell. I mean, we can get Duress back. I guess that explains why they weren't using it to, like using the Isle for card selection. They have a combo they're working towards. Go figure. Put the exact card on top that we just milled. Well, we'll see. I mean, if Lantern resolves, we have like a lot of stuff that we need to keep them off. And I mean, Glasspool Mimic is a land. Yeah, we gotta keep them off that. They win anyway. They can just Selective Memory here, force us to find a discard spell, Force of Negation. I guess I'll let them draw. I don't love them having it, but like if they just play Selective Memory, they can then force any discard we might have. Yeah, we're dead if they see it. Echoing Truth on our Codex Shredder. That is incorrect. I mean, they're just very obviously missing lethal here. Like, you know, if they have Echoing Truth in hand, they could just play Selective Memory, exile all but like 2 cards, go to their turn, or all but 3, I guess, because I had the Needle, and then even if I have Thoughtseize, I can't play it because, I mean, this just seems incorrect. Am I gonna try for no, I can't play Ensnaring Bridge here. Well, they force it, and they have a land, which means I'm gonna have to shuffle targeting myself to get a thought. I mean, they could miss lethal for sure, but I mean, yeah, that's gonna play the. So we need hand disruption of some sort. And we're gonna sack it here. Codex Shredder doesn't do it. Yeah, we just die. Let's do a nice shameless plug of all right, well, yeah, we are. There's no world where we can do anything relevant. Yeah, well, anyway, this acquire cardboard guy, if you are watching this tomorrow, if you cast Selective Memory, you don't have to take everything. You can choose to leave like 3 cards left, and you can choose to leave like 3 other copies of Thassa's Oracle. and then you just have force for hand disruption or torpor orb or anything like that, and you play Thassa's Oracle the next turn and win. Unfortunate ending. I think this is a matchup that we're definitely favored toward. They seem fairly slow, but I guess we'll pass through here and I'll let them get the kill. Yeah, so they just exile their whole library and they'll win here. Oh, we got our league done in about two hours. If we go to, I guess we'll return to league details in a second, but 1-4 overall. But I think the deck definitely felt better than 1/4. I think we can go through it matchup by matchup in a second, but like our game one, it just did what it was supposed to there. Portable Hole was quite strong. Our Amulet matchup, I think there's no version of Lantern that's like favored against Amulet, so I mean that loss happens. Again, creativity. I think versions with Surgical Extraction do a lot better against creativity than versions without. So that is one card I could consider including. May go back to. I played it in lots of versions. It's very strong. Obviously, it's good against creativity, and I think if you're playing Surgical, you're probably favored, and if you're not playing Surgical, you're maybe not. It may just come down to that. I mean, I think it was winnable. And then the game, that Elvish Reclaimer deck, very rough game. Not thrilled with it, but you know, Force of Vigor being their one unknown that they draw being exactly the card that kills us, I think is pretty unlucky all around. So yeah, as we finish up this game, and then this one, yeah, like I said, Moto crashed while sideboarding, so we didn't have access to any of our many sideboard cards, I would say. We have, yeah, so this game performed well. This game, like I don't think it was played poorly. I think it was just Amulet Titan doing Amulet Titan things, it being a hard matchup for us. The creativity matchup, I think game one we got pretty close, if I remember correctly, just not quite there. This game, yeah, Force of Vigor, very gross card, and this final game, you know, tough one, but you got to take the bad beats sometimes. Thank you if you are still watching this 2 hours in. You're very dedicated to Lantern Control. Huge thank you for being a fan of the channel and watching. We'll continue doing leagues about once a week where I do the whole thing. 2 hours honestly is a pretty reasonable time for a Lantern league. It is often ends up taking a decent amount of time. But yeah, let me know if you have any feedback on audio quality, anything like that, and hopefully in our next league it goes a bit better. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you on the weekend for some more content.